Good evening, good evening, good evening. President Joe Biden just said some of the most shocking things he said in his entire presidency, and I actually feel bad for him and the United States of America. His party, the Democrat Party, is full of rats and backstabbers. Plus, Kamala Harris's new VP pick will likely sink her ticket, and Trump and Republicans are loving it. He's a terrible governor, and it shows in the way he abuses his U.S. citizens in favor of blessing illegals with financial taxpayer money. All right, now let me know where you're at tonight. I want to see where people are from. That always makes me very happy to read. Vice President Kamala Harris has shocked everyone by picking Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her VP pick. Harris introduced Walz to the world by stating, "I am proud to announce that I've asked Tim Walz to be my running mate. As a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran, he's delivered for working families like this." Did he deliver when he called off the National Guard and let Minnesota be burned to the ground by Antifa and BLM? No, he did not. While this resume may sound good on the surface, his track record is much less impressive. Not only has Walz signed legislation allowing minors to get sex change operations and hormone blockers, but he also has vocally supported socialism and the state's right to take children away from their parents. During the recent White Dudes for Harris virtual meeting, Governor Walz stated, "Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. There's nothing neighborly about stealing from me to give to somebody else." Walz says socialism shouldn't be looked at as bad because some view it as community support. Look, voluntary sharing is fine, but mandatory sharing under socialism is not. Socialism aims for equality, but fails because people are not rewarded based off their work. This reduces motivation and leads to insufficiency. In hard workers, they do the work while slackers get the same reward. It's inequality, not equality. Plus, socialism only works until you run out of somebody else's money. This governor has been abusing Minnesota taxpayers for years now in favor of illegal immigrants. Now, aside from fringe views, Walz has shown himself to be incompetent. During the COVID pandemic, his Department of Education failed to catch a huge fraudulent umbrella company feeding our children in Minnesota. The company fooled Walz and his administration by using false names to feed fake kids in return for money. Now, spoiler alert, they were caught, but nothing ever came of it. 47 Somalia immigrants were stealing $250 million in taxpayer money and then sending it back to Somalia. Meanwhile, Representative Ilhan Omar was praising them for stealing taxpayer money in order to feed people. It's just absolutely disgusting to me. I hate when the government steals our money, and I especially hate when illegals steal our money. By the way, thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos because it really helps me out. So thank you so much. I'm seeing Oklahoma in the house, Connecticut, New York, Kentucky, Florida, Illinois, H-Town, Rhode Island, Minnesota, and wow, just a lot of people here tonight. All right, William Jenkins says, "Evening, Stephen from upstate New York. I just put baby girl. I just had a baby girl at 12:36. I hope you have Trump back in office so my daughter can have a future." Congratulations. I love being a dad. That is really amazing. Everybody say congratulations. All right, now to make matters worse, an audit by the nonpartisan office of the legislative auditor found Minnesota failed to act on warning signs. The report stated the government did not effectively exercise its authority to hold Feeding Our Future accountable to program requirements and was ill prepared to respond to the issue it encountered with Feeding Our Future. Minnesota Senate Minority Leader, Republican Mark Johnson, reacted by stating, "This is stunning. The Department of Education and Governor Walz have repeatedly tried to tell the public that they did all they could, but this report clearly demonstrates that this was a false narrative." These guys literally allowed $250 million to be stolen right out from under their nose, and they did nothing about it. Now, despite his history of being a far-left socialist failure of a governor, Representative Nancy Pelosi, who you know you could trust with your life, has attempted to argue that Walz is not an extremist. He's not far left. He's not even part of the progressive arm of the Democrat Party. During an interview on MSNBC, Pelosi argued that Governor Tim Walz was right down the middle when it came to political views, citing his history of fighting for veterans. Can someone tell Pelosi that being pro-military doesn't make you conservative or down the middle? Like, there are Democrat people in the military, there are Republican people in the military, but this guy has not been helpful to veterans. He has been helpful to illegal immigrants and stealing American taxpayer money. Here's what Charlie Kirk had to say about Governor Tim Walz. "Welcome to the race, Tim Walz. Let's make sure America knows who you are. You helped ignite the George Floyd riots, the worst the country had seen in decades. While Minneapolis burned, you stalled on deploying the National Guard for an entire day, blaming the city for not submitting the right paperwork. You let your daughter leak the Guard's deployment plans online so that rioters would know how long they had to loot the city with impunity. Minneapolis is a war zone because of you. Just days after the attempted murder of Donald Trump, you called him and his supporters fascists, egging them on the same rhetoric that led to him being shot at in the first place. You have overseen some of the most radical youth trans surgery laws in the country. Under your leadership, teenagers can get their breasts chopped off and get sterilized, and your government calls it health care? You have the most radical abortion laws in the country, zero limits. Every year, 5 to 6 babies are born alive and then murdered legally under the laws you supported. On immigration, you famously said you wanted to provide a ladder so invaders can come over Trump's wall. You are a radical open border zealot. You oversaw the single worst fraud of the COVID era, feeding the future case. Thanks to ineptitude at your Department of Education, criminals stole $250 million of taxpayer money, spending it on luxury cars, houses, vacations, and sending it back home to Somalia. Also, during COVID, you approved $500 million in hero pay for frontline workers, only to have 40% of that money end up in the hands of people who were ineligible or deceased. In the House, you were Pelosi's sidekick and did whatever Democrats demanded. You will try and disguise yourself as a folksy Midwestern moderate. In reality, you are a white male version of Kamala Harris, radical, inept, undeserving of leadership. Make this go viral, ruin the honeymoon. Let's educate millions since the media will not. Pretty damning words. This guy, from everything that I am reading today, he is further to the left than Kamala Harris. He is one of the most progressive people in the entire country. He's like Bernie Sanders, only worse. All right, now I've got some big stories to share with you, but first, today's sponsor. We all want to feel healthy and energetic, but most of us are running on fumes, and exercising and eating right just becomes another thing on our to-do list. But I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be hard, but that's not happening without good nutrition. That's why I take Field of Greens. It's whole organic fruits and vegetables, no extract, no lab-made stuff. Just 1 scoop a day gives you simple, real nutrition. Field of Greens feeds your body with fruits and vegetables medically chosen to support your heart, vital organs, and your immune system. Now, once you understand the importance of micronutrients in your gut health, you will start wanting to drink this drink. On top of that, it's delicious. I especially love the strawberry lemonade. Now, Field of Greens is my go-to when it comes to getting these nutrients into my gut. It helps that tastes good and it is easy to drink. I'm sure you'll love Field of Greens, but if you don't, you can return it for a full refund. I got you 15% off your first order and free rush shipping. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use promo code Gardner. That's promo code Gardner at fieldofgreens.com, fieldofgreens.com. All right. Now, following the announcement from Harris, former President Donald Trump claimed that Joe Biden may come back to replace Kamala Harris. In a post on Truth Social, Trump stated, "This is the most radical left duo in American history. There has never been anything like it, and there will never be again. I hear there is a big movement to bring back Crooked Joe." Furthermore, Trump stated he has sources who say Biden is pissed that his presidency was unconstitutionally stolen from him. Trump stated, Biden feels that he made a historically tragic mistake by handing over the U.S. presidency, a coup, to the people in the world he most hates, and he wants it back. He wants it back now. Now, he's not wrong. The party concerned with democracy literally said, to hell with democracy. Remove Joe Biden now. Pelosi threatened him. Chuck Schumer threatened him. Barack Obama, the former president, threatened him into giving up his seat. Now, this is an incredible claim, as Harris has officially been crowned the Democrat presidential nominee by the DNC in a virtual meeting instead of waiting until their convention in Chicago. While Biden taking back the nomination would be next to impossible, it would require support from a large number of delegates in Chicago. Now, do you think that Biden will actually be able to get his seat back? I mean, I kind of feel bad for the guy. He's too mentally unstable to realize that these people tricked him. Like his best friends, his closest friends, stuck the knife over and over again in his back and ruined his legacy. He's literally irrelevant. You don't even hear about Biden anymore. All you hear is Kamala Harris. So he's the lamest lame duck president in American history. It's just sad. I mean, the dude completely torched any legacy that he was trying to build. Now, as the world sits in a very awkward state, the Trump campaign has shifted its focus to Gen Z. Earlier this week, Donald Trump live streamed with popular influencer Aiden Ross, known for being a culturally relevant and controversial figure. During the live stream, Ross asked questions important to younger generations, such as how Trump would reform the immigration system to make it easier to enter America legally. To wrap up, Ross surprised Trump with a custom-wrapped Tesla Cybertruck depicting the moment after Trump survived his assassination attempt with his fist pumping in the air. They also filmed a TikTok video where Donald Trump asked everyone to vote for him because Harris wants to ban the TikTok platform. Overall, it was an entertaining episode that Donald Trump claimed has received over 100 million platforms across all of Ross's different social media. Now, it's important to note that Trump's VP pick, J.D. Vance, also targeted Gen Z audiences by appearing on the Full Send podcast. J.D. Vance tried to connect with listeners by discussing his past as an anti-Trump critic, blaming the fake news media for misleading him. I think this take was helpful because it may resonate with others who share similar views where they're like, wait a minute, the media tells me this guy is Hitler, but then he's beloved by so many people. The media tells me he's the worst, and yet he had really great policies that kept us out of war, that kept food and gas affordable. So they're confused. Overall, I think it was a really great interview. Now, Trump will be sitting for a historic one-on-one interview with Elon Musk that is expected to get more views than even the Tucker Carlson interview. So I'm excited to share that with you. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so that I can keep you in the loop. All right, now the International Boxing Association has finally commented on the people accused of being men while competing in women's boxing at the Olympics. CEO Chris Roberts confirmed the two fighters in question are in fact males with XY chromosomes. After he read his statement, some of the journalists appeared to argue with him, which prompted him to say, "Why are you attacking me? The blood results say, the laboratories say, these boxers are male." So not only did the Paris Olympics allow men pretending to be women to beat women up on international TV, the two male fighters will now be fighting each other for the title of who is the best woman boxer. Like, this sounds like satire. This sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit. Women and women's sports must be protected from these men who believe that they are women. It's an absolute disgrace. Shame on you, Paris. Now, as the U.S. military bases are being attacked abroad and U.S. troops are being injured as a result, House Speaker Mike Johnson has called on President Joe Biden to release more weapons to Israel. He stated, "Now is the time for the White House to realize their choices have brought us to the brink of disaster and give it full-throated support for Israel. President Biden must immediately release all previously withheld and delayed weapons to Israel so it can defend itself and deter Iran, and make clear that there will be a decisive economic, military, and international ramification should Iran engage in or support any attacks." The fact that they attacked U.S. military bases tells me that it's time to let them know that the U.S. military has balls and firepower. It makes me very angry that we are being attacked. So hopefully Biden will come out from hiding, pull his head out of his butt, quit sucking his thumb about handing over his presidency to Kamala Harris and ruining his legacy. What an idiot. I mean, he really is that dumb. It's just kind of sad, you know? It is kind of heartbreaking if you really think about it. All right, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more. Please give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 1.8 million amazing truth seekers, and I appreciate you trusting me to be your daily source of news. I love you. Stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.